What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at Data Dash, and today is July 3rd of 2020. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, I really want to spend some time to just focus in on the market. There's not a lot of news going on right now within the cryptocurrency space, and I really want to hit home the signs that I'm seeing throughout the market through price action and through our custom aggregate indicators that showcase that we might be seeing the early warning signs of altcoin dominance starting to shift, taking over the market. And with those moves, even though they're quite small right now as we're in the early stages, how that can pay off really well if you're in the right place throughout the market. All right, so we've got this and more right after our quick sponsor. Our sponsor for today's episode is Bitpanda Pro. If you're on the hunt for a proven, trustworthy exchange in Europe to trade your crypto, then I recommend taking a look at Bitpanda. If you're just getting started, many people refer to Bitpanda as the European Coinbase, so it can be a great place to start in getting your first crypto positions. With over 5 years of experience serving the industry by offering easy and secure access to digital currencies, Bitpanda has really earned its reputation. Check out the link down below in the description for more information. Alrighty, everyone, so let's go ahead and take a quick look across the board for cryptocurrency markets. To start, as we can see here, the top three plays are slightly down in the red right now, leading the vast majority of cryptocurrencies down in the red right now. But again, most, roughly speaking, around a no-trend scenario. We only really have a few key outliers here who are making big moves. Kyber Network still leading the market right now, just tapping up towards around a $300 million market cap or a price of $1.66 per token. We've also got Icon, VeChain, Bancor, and 0x and Synthetics leading the way as well. So you got a lot of DeFi plays. You got a few legacy plays as well, like VeChain and Icon coming up here into double-digit territory. So it's good to see this, right? You're starting to see again that a lot of these key winners that have been, kind of leading the market over the last few months are still continuing to make major gains of 5, 10, 15, 20% in some single day price moves. However, the key thing is that many people are missing this if you're just taking a look at the broad measure of Bitcoin dominance or altcoin dominance. Because if you look at that right now, these moves aren't looking, quite significant to a lot of people, right? Unless you're looking at the broader trend, right? If you're looking at the day-to-day here, or really just over the last week, we've gone from around 33.7% of the market being based out of altcoins to 34.2%. And to most people, again, that's a negligible change. Now, if you're talking about maybe holding Ethereum or holding Litecoin or XRP or one of the major cryptocurrencies, yes, if these cryptocurrencies are making less than 1% moves, it's basically going to leave altcoin dominance relatively unchanged. And the reason why during these kind of small days like this, again, these small bits and pieces that we're seeing where altcoin dominance starts to grow, why I get excited is because this has been happening for the last few months. In fact, the last few quarters back going into kind of the spring, more towards the fall of 2019. As we've been talking about the reversal of altcoins continuing to gain market dominance all the way back here in September. It's a slow game, especially during the initial phases of the beginning process of an altcoin cycle. But we can see here that we actually had something quite important happen the other day, and we've continued to fulfill on that price move. And that was breaking out of the channel that we've been building up ever since back here between early and mid-February. So again, seeing this descending channel broken, we've now gotten above there. We've made it support here. We came back down, pulled down onto it for support, and now we're starting to lift up and test towards the more historic line of resistance, which if we test that line, it will be the first time we've touched it since all the way back here in May of 2018. I can't express the significance of this, guys, and why this is so important. We're finally getting here. We're in the next 3 months. Something is likely going to happen, right? Likely over the next 3 or 5 months here, going into the peak here, which goes into the end of October, right? We've only got a few more months that this can continue to really push sideways before we're probably going to see a major move to the upside or the downside, right? And again, I don't know exactly what it'll be. It really might be that Bitcoin comes roaring in. If the macro environment really is looking for kind of a global hedge, that's where Bitcoin would shine. And altcoin dominance, as we're taking a look at right now, would start to falter. But again, I tend to think that, with, Bitcoin bull markets, we're going to continue to see altcoin markets continue to shine, especially with the narrative of enterprise blockchain and DeFi. More specifically, DeFi is what has me excited personally in the sense of kind of the potential to grow out multi-$100 billion, if not trillion-dollar, applications in this case for decentralized finance. It's a ways away. I don't think we're going to see that for a couple of years, but that's thinking 2 or 3 years out. And if we're in the early phases of this, we can start to see again those kind of multipliers on valuations. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the actual key warning signs here that are actually going to actually help us break out, right? Because we could have tons of different small and mid-cap altcoins do well in the market, and they can maybe push us up to this line, but we're going to need the big players to really push us through this and kick off the next cycle. So taking a look at Ethereum, right? We're not doing any crazy TA. I've just got it here on the monthly chart, taking a look at the longest price history that we have here through Bittrex. I think maybe possibly you could get it through Poloniex a little bit longer term as well, but this gives us all we need to work with, right? So we can see here, roughly speaking, right? If we take a look across the board in the market, we can see that from the previous lows back here, right? We got a general line of support here. So taking that into the equation again, seeing that we're roughly lining up here with a long-term line of support here on the logarithmic chart. And second off as well, the key thing to keep in mind as well is just generally a higher base here compared to what we had in the past against Bitcoin, right? We want to see that Ethereum is setting a higher low here. And outside of that as well, we want to see that we're seeing a sense of momentum here amongst some of our favorite indicators. And as you all know, we use the SMS strategy that was built by one of our community members, Sandrox or Sandeep. He's a really awesome guy, and he's one of our newsletter subscribers. He spent the time to put this aggregate indicator together, and it takes into account the squeeze momentum indicator, the MACD, as well as the stochastic RSI. And you can get it for free if you just look up SMS indicator here in TradingView. It's this one right here. It's made by Sandrox99. So make sure you guys use it on the longer term time frames. It's not always a guarantee here, but what I love to see is that, you know, for example, right, as the indicator was showcasing here, all throughout the bear market, we were below here. We were showcasing that it wasn't probably time to get bullish on Ethereum. And now, since back here in September, since we've been pushing sideways and actually been setting higher levels, you know, the indicator basically showcased us that the trend is starting to reverse, that these longer term indicators are starting to showcase that we're setting up for a reversal. And if you just take a look at the price here, guys, I mean, this is beautiful. This is exactly what we want to see. It's nice sideways consolidation, higher lows, and again, not any further sell side activity, where now all we're looking for is for higher highs compared to what we set back here in December of 2018, right? Outside of that as well, Litecoin, right? So we need to understand in the sense of analyzing Litecoin and setting up for the next altcoin cycle, what is, where are the major gains made for Litecoin here? Well, it's usually made when it comes down into what we call our entry zone, which is where we set the last two lows back here in April of 2015 and February of 2017 before we kicked off the next altcoin cycle. And the interesting thing to take into mind here is that when we get down to that range, it is either instantly uplifted, buyers start coming in around this price range, or a matter of less than a week. And then after that, we kick off what is about a 400% gain against Bitcoin if you take it up to our exit zone. This is what we want to see here, guys. These are the kind of moves here, with Litecoin being one of the larger cap plays in the crypto space that we want to watch for. And we're not that far away from here. If you analyze it at the current rate of sell-off against Bitcoin, we're about a week, if not 2 weeks away from this time period. So don't doubt, again, taking a look back at this altcoin dominance chart, don't doubt we could just press right through this, guys. Again, we could push sideways for a little while. We've still got some time. But these are the kind of catalysts you need to watch for. If one or two of these dominoes are starting to showcase, then it's probably going to start a whole storm for the entire crypto industry to the upside. XRP, you guys know I'm not really a fan of XRP. I don't see the need per se for the XRP token in the overall Ripple system and Ripple network. But all in all, I'm not here to get you guys in a rustle. For those of you who do like XRP, just basically, again, as a trader, I'm not going to turn away from the opportunity if there is one. And looking again at the descending wedge that we had back here in 2016 and 2017, basically an entire year-long descending wedge that led into one of the biggest crypto breakouts we've seen in history. It looks like we're doing the exact same thing here, right? We started back here in May of 2019. It's been over a year now that we've been in this descending wedge, and I have no doubt it's probably going to be another couple weeks, maybe another month or so until we really get a break on it. And after that, again, that's when we can start to see the kind of volatile kick up to the upside, and we start to get almost a parabolic rise here for cryptocurrencies. Now, taking a look at some of the more small cap plays, right? Again, we could trade these larger cap plays, but they're not going to move to the same degree that we've seen in the past, right? There just isn't that kind of room to gain against Bitcoin as there was when they had little to no valuation at all. So what I'm looking for are a lot of different plays like Kyber Network, for example. Trading right now, as we just talked about, at a $300 million market cap. I do believe that in the short term it's going to pull back this week, because we just had if you look at, for example, the performance this week, we had a 56% move. That's exactly what we had here at 64% as we started to kind of push and consolidate sideways, and back over here as well during February when we had another big breakout, and back here during March of 2019 where we had a near 70% breakout. So after these kind of multiples on a weekly basis, you usually get a cool down, maybe a little bit of a pullback or a push sideways for a while. But again, I'm still keeping bullish on Kyber Network for the long term. REN as well. Looks like it might still come up here towards around 2,200 sats here going into July. We'll see if it has that kind of momentum. But this is just one that I'm generally watching. And then after that, I would expect a pullback of some sort. Comp. I know Compound token has been the big focus for everyone in the market. And again, I'm still keeping my eye on it, but I think this needs to go down towards around a $250 million market cap before I can really, take any serious long-term position on it. And we're still about, I think it's about 40 or 50% away from that. So I think, don't fight the trend now. The trend is on a sell-off right now. Just let it do its thing. Wait for a nice discount and wait for a trend reversal. Wait for there to be a higher set of lows. And if you really want to be safe, a higher set of highs, right, in the short term. And again, we're just taking a look at the daily because that's all the price action we have to work with. So taking a look at Aave as well, this is one that, again, I think needs to have a pretty substantial cool down after making the 6,200% run up. With the lower highs here, I think that's signifying that. And I think we're going to have a set of lower lows here coming down here towards around 1,000 Satoshis at a minimum. I think that would be a healthy range where I would start to look at possibly picking up some Aave, but I'm not buying anything just yet, or Lend if you want to talk about the token pair. Now, last two ones I want to talk about here. Actually, there will be three more because I want to take a look at RLC as well. Here we can see basic attention token. Just taking a look at price action here. This has been one of our plays we talked about for a long time in the newsletter. Finally, on the weekly, starting to build up a nice pattern here. I'm waiting for a close above 3,200 sats. If we get that, this thing is probably going to kick off like a rocket, back like it has in the past. And these are my general kind of ranges that I'm expecting resistance, as well as where I'd probably take some kind of take profit in this case for certain portions of the position. Second to last here is Kava. Kava, as you all know, is one that I've been watching, pretty much over the last month or 2 months. I've been really kind of getting interested in it, but I finally built a position back here in the later part of June. So I'm still slightly up on it compared to Bitcoin. I'm not looking to trade this in the short term. This is more of a long-term play. Again, turning off any drawings here, turning off our indicators, or just taking a look at the weekly. I like these kind of rebounds where the increase in price is outpacing the pace of the sell-off. So this is something I really like. And not to mention, it's to me, I think about it in a practical sense. It's like being able to get into MakerDAO at the early stages instead of buying it at a very high valuation and dealing with it after a ton of VCs, right? This is one that's much cheaper and also has the feature of being able to pull in all types of different cryptocurrencies as collateral. And I think that they've got a good chance at being a competitor against the MakerDAO ecosystem in this case, especially with the team and the people who are behind it. So last one here we'll take a look at is RLC BTC. Okay, so taking a look at RLC again, still looking fantastic here. Again, as we talked about, breaking out on the logarithmic chart against that line of resistance that we'd had for a very long period of time. And again, we just need to see more follow through on the volume and price here. I think you'll really start to see kind of the exponential kind of movements in price, so the parabolic rise, after we break that big even of 10,000 Satoshis. But again, RLC dealing with decentralized cloud systems and Oracle solutions, I think that this is going to be a very big play here for the cryptocurrency space. And especially if you're talking about the kind of risk reward potential with something like Chainlink that's already pretty well valued in the market versus something like RLC that still probably has a lot more room to grow. And an altcoin cycle, I know which one I'm going to be positioned in. So anyways, that's it in regards to just analyzing some of the plays throughout the market, guys. Again, ignoring a lot of the small mid caps, that's definitely where we want to be positioned. Watch the signs that the large caps give you. History tends to repeat itself. Most traders, again, are still looking on the daily time frames, and you will miss this kind of stuff if you're looking at those short-term time frames. If you're caring about what's happening in the next hour, if you're trying to margin trade, I mean, all these things, guys, are literally built to work against you. Work on something, work on building a strategy. If you haven't already, I'm not saying you guys haven't, and I don't mean to sound too authoritative in that case. But if you want any kind of, a bit of advice in the sense, not so much financial advice, but a little bit of a background as to how I approach markets and why I've been able to be relatively successful over the last few years and become increasingly successful over time as I've learned from my failures is to just basically focus on those long-term time frames. It's the best lesson I could say. And just look for what history tells you. Like, when do buyers tend to come in, and when do they come in rushing? Back here with Litecoin, it's very obvious. And it's been obvious that the trade has not been ready for Litecoin for some time, but it's getting there. And we're very, very close. I think more close than most people are willing to focus on or admit to. I think that we're getting to a point where things are going to get very, very exciting very soon. And the fundamentals speak to it as well. So we'll keep an eye here on altcoin dominance. We'll keep an eye on the broader cryptocurrency market. But in the meantime, guys, that's it for the video. If you liked it, please consider dropping a like. Consider subscribing as well and hitting the bell icon if you don't want to miss another video. But above all, I want to hear from you guys down below in the comments. What do you think about the current market right now? I not only want to hear about what cryptos you guys like. If you want to share that, that's completely fine. But the biggest thing I want to hear from you all is, what do you think is going to be really the fundamental catalyst that's going to spark this next cycle? Do you just think we're going to get an inflow of new volume into the crypto space as the price action has been getting more optimistic? Or do you feel that DeFi, enterprise blockchain, some other kind of surface level catalyst is going to be the reason why we see cryptocurrencies start to move up here? Or do you feel that, for example, we're going to be stagnant, we're going into a bear market? I don't want to be too confident in this idea that we're going up. Who knows, things might go the opposite direction. I'd love to hear from you guys no matter what your opinion is. That being said, I hope you all have a fantastic day wherever you are, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned.